Greetings and welcome to PJ's-Kitchen. My name is Peter James from the website peterjamesx.com, and I'm bringing you the Babylon Report. Today the message that I have for you is that this message is a declaration of war. It's a declaration of war by the eternal God on idolatry and all idolaters. I ask you to listen very carefully to this to ensure that you do not slot in to the label of idolaters. The contents of this video in no way minimizes or negates the fact that the eternal God is a God of love. He is such a God of love that he came in the person of Jesus Christ and died for us so that we can be saved. However, as the situation in the world becomes more desperate literally day by day, and the controlled media does not really report the things that you need to hear, because it prefers to focus on entertainment rather than the complicated issues that surround us. But we have reached the point now where if Christ doesn't intervene very shortly, no flesh will be saved alive. It is easy to ignore the plight of the mass of humanity, which is suffering from man's greed and man's inhumanity to man. You know, we are at peace with the idols which we have made. But the eternal God has said, enough is enough. I have to act to stop this barbarity and the suffering and destruction of my world. We tend to forget that the world has an owner, the eternal God, and his intervention is now at hand. Thus, this is a declaration of war. Are you prepared for it? So we're going to look at the many idols that have been created and set up and worshipped. In Genesis 1:27 it says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them." In this short sentence of only 22 words, the eternal God makes a definite statement. He said, he created man in his own image. In case we missed the point, he repeated it immediately after and said, in the image of God created he him. My question is, why don't we accept what we've been told? What do I mean by this? Well, in general, the world reverses the sentence. It completely reverses it, so that it says, so man created God. Yes, so man created God in his own image. In the image of man, man made him his God. Male and female, he created them. Today we have been told that God is also female. Having made our gods, we then proceed to worship them. And in the process, we worship the God of this world, who is no more or no other than Satan, who is also known as Lucifer. It's not two separate beings. It is a single entity. Lucifer and Satan are one, in spite of what the Freemasons would have you believe. So the gods we have made are not in the image of the eternal God. No, They are in the image of the god of this world, Satan, with all his characteristics. Making our own gods mean that we make the rules, which directly contravene what the eternal God has commanded. And this becomes the foundation stone of most of mankind, every nation, race, and creed. If we had obeyed the eternal God in the first place, the world would be a very different place indeed. Well, how could such a rebellion arise in the first place? Whether you look in the Old Testament or the New Testament, the answer is exactly the same. The overwhelming majority of people do not fear the eternal God. They deceive themselves that he doesn't even exist. In Psalm 36, it says, "The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of God before his eyes." That's what the wicked says. There's no fear of God. They think that they are God. Romans 3:18, "There is no fear of God before their eyes." You know, today we like to think that we are modern and that this all-powerful God is just a myth. You see it all the time. It's a fairy tale which should be consigned to the rubbish bin of ignorance. The reality is that it is those who deny the existence of God who are actually foolish and wicked. When there is no fear of the eternal God, people do exactly as they wish. They act as if they are God. And then they expect others to bow and scrape before them as they control and manipulate those who serve them.